Hello, my name is Pylon John, and welcome back to Montmaquis for episode 3 of our series in Cities Skylines 2. And is that a bear? That's a bear! Huh, look at that! Just wandering across the street. Anyway, in this episode, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit, expand the old town, put in our first few city services, build a bridge, and see winter in Montmaquis. But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit because the first thing I'm going to do is delete our Grenoble-inspired commercial artery here because I want to take another shot at it. I think I can do better. And while we're at it, I'm just going to delete all of this too and rebuild it one more time. Okay, that's not true. I rebuilt it a few more times. It was really hard to break out of that rigid grid mentality and build something a little more organic. Get the right combination of chaos and order. Let's go back to Grenoble for a sec through the magic of Google Street View just to get a reminder of what it is we're trying to do here. So we've got a 1 or 2 lane main artery with an extra lane that branches off and provides access to the mixed-use buildings off on the side. I'm going to try to use the parallel road tool here with the offset set at the minimum amount and try to get the effect that I want, but this approach isn't going to work. This might be a better approach. Just delete that little bit and then rebuild it as 2 sets of parallel roads rather than just 1. Now I'm going to use the road replace tool, turn off all snapping, and try to slide this over so that it's basically seamless with the main road. And honestly, at first this looks pretty good. But like most things, if you look a little closer, the cracks start to appear. Like you've got to look at it from just the right angle. It looks so good from this angle, but up close, those cracks. So I had been trying to put this off and experience the game in all of its full vanilla glory, but I think it's time to try out the dev mode. Other YouTubers have done videos about this already, but to activate dev mode, just go into your Steam library, right-click on CS2, and select Properties, and put in this little bit of code here. Then boot up the game, hit Tab, and you get this menu. Lots in here. I'm going to leave it to others to explore it further at the risk of breaking their games. But for now, we're going to go to Simulation, and we're going to turn on Bypass Validation Results. This is going to let us do some cool things, basically the equivalent of the Anarchy mod in CS1. And it's going to turn off the collision. It's going to indicate that there's a collision, but it'll allow you to place this road anyway. And if we can get the sidewalks perfectly overlapping, I think that might do it. However, I need to make sure that this isn't going to break my game and run a little test with a pedestrian path here. It'll let me place it, but we still have bypass validation results activated. If we deactivate that, will it let me place a path? No. Huh. Well, at this early stage, I don't think I want to do anything that might cause problems down the line, with lots of updates, DLCs, and mods still to come. So I'll leave dev mode off for now and go back to trying the upgrade road tool to get the effect that I want. And it's around this point that I realized that not only do I need to line the roads up horizontally, but I also need to line them up vertically, and that proved to be a pretty big problem. The ground isn't always completely even, and it's really hard to get it just right. Yeah, this isn't gonna do it. Here I try my pedestrian path test again, and it's clear this is not going to work. So it looks like we'll have to settle for our parallel road tool, set at the smallest possible offset, which leaves enough space in the middle for some bushes. We'll use trees and wide sidewalks to eliminate parking where we don't want it, and leave one parking lane open on that side road. That looks good. And now our bushes are planted. I've rebuilt that loose old town grid, and I'm embarrassed to say, no, this is not the final version. I'm gonna make some more changes. In Cities Skylines 1, I probably would have had to restart the game by now. Probably multiple times, in fact, but in CS2, the economy is very forgiving. Maybe too forgiving. In fact, I feel like I'm being rewarded with XP for building and deleting and rebuilding and deleting again. Anyway, even ahead of the release of the Paradox Mods platform, I know folks are already working on mods, and one of them is to make the economy a little more challenging. Let's start zoning our medium density residential. We're going to go 3 units wide and 2 units deep with these, as we decided in the last episode. And our row houses, also 2 units deep. Then we're going to put some commercial in alongside the collector road and use the path trick to get the zoning grid lined up the way we want it. The radio just announced that it's the aurora borealis tonight, so I thought I should turn the day-night cycle back on and check it out. This is nice. This is how our arterial road looks at night and in the rain. Taking a look at the economy window, I realized it might be a good idea to lower the budget for water and sewage, since we're using so little of it. Eventually, I start going block by block and corner by corner, using the path trick to get the most out of the zoning grid. I also eventually realized that it makes sense to zone the shorter side of the block first. Getting real close to our next milestone here, I decide to cheese it and place a wind turbine for the XP and get us to Grand Village, which increases our loan limit. We now have access to the district creation tool, the production panel, some city policies, natural disasters, transportation overview, low rent housing, low density offices, lots of cool stuff. That, again, we're not going to use just yet. Here's Parks and Recreation and all of the monuments that we got for pre-ordering the game. Our old town grid is starting to take shape, finally approach its final form. And I feel like I'm finding the right balance, not just between order and chaos, but also in terms of the size. It's big enough to allow for full blocks, but small enough that the blocks are fairly dense. With winter approaching and road conditions deteriorating, I'd better place a road maintenance depot right about here. And here they come. Already the mountains around our town are covered in snow, and it'll soon reach our town for sure. This seems like a good time to start renaming some of our roads. Our town being loosely based on Grenoble, which was a hub of the French Resistance, we're going to name our streets to honor that history. This becomes Boulevard des Partisans, and some of the names will be a little more mundane. Unfortunately, CS2 doesn't let you choose where roads begin and end like CS1 does. Maybe I'll name north-south streets after key figures in the French Resistance, like Georges Guinguin, the French communist who led one of the largest maquis, and Nancy Wake, a badass born in New Zealand, raised in Australia, known in the resistance as the White Mouse. She was refused some medals by the government of Australia, which then changed its mind, and she told them to stick them where the monkey sticks his nuts. East-west streets will name those after some of the largest of the Maquis, the French resistance groups that operated out of the countryside. Here is what Montmaquis currently looks like from above. Let's extend this artery, again using 2 sets of parallel roads. I think I'm finally starting to get the hang of building these loosely gridded old town road networks. Now it's time to extend our city by purchasing some of the available map tiles. And go back to our initial plan, and I think what we're going to do is extend that arterial road down over the river to that farmland and build some farms there. I think that's where that road would have gone in real life. We'll start by creating a nice flat pad on either side of the river at the same height for our bridge. And that's good enough for now. Might upgrade that later. I'll create a nice slope for our arterial road down to that bridge and just ignore the other bridge I built next to it. I'll delete that in a sec. Now this road might clip into our fertile land a little bit, but it's not too bad. Time to place some long overdue city services in what will be the center of our old town. I'd rather put the elementary school here, even though there isn't room for the child health center. I'll have to add a playground, of course, but that'll be all. We'll put the clinic down here and make way for our police station here. People have been complaining about crime, and for some reason they seem to think that police solve crime. Whatever, this is just a game, so we can suspend our disbelief for a moment and try to make the police station at least look good. Although with our economy being a little less than robust, I'm not sure we need to fund all of our new city services at 100% just yet. Now, back to dev mode, this time hitting the home key and choosing Clip Surface. This is going to allow me to extend this surface up to the road and place some trees on top of it. Now, I'm not too worried about this breaking my game. It seems pretty safe, but it should make things look a lot nicer and cleaner. We can plant some more trees in the corners and along the edges. And increase the police budget because they haven't solved crime yet. I'm sure throwing more money at them will fix it. Anyway, in case you hadn't noticed, it's winter now, so now might be a good time to take a look at things from above and see how they're coming along. What I'm going to do now is just add that side lane to our main commercial arterial as it approaches the bridge. And add some bushes between. I find it looks a little more realistic if it's not quite perfect, but I do hold down the right mouse button to get them to rotate as I'm placing them so they don't all look the same. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. I'm going to temporarily place a wind turbine just to get us to the next milestone. Tiny town, milestone 5. And this gets us mixed housing. That's gonna be great for our old town. But that'll be all for today. Next time, I plan to finally complete the old town. So please like, subscribe, and say hi in the comments below. I'm Pylon John. Until next time, Free Palestine.